Today, almost everyone has witnessed or personally experienced unprecedented climate anomalies and natural disasters. We are seeing devastating earthquakes over magnitude 7, scorching heat waves exceeding 40 degrees Celsius, Category 5 hurricanes, violent tornadoes, catastrophic flooding, and volcanic eruptions. These phenomena used to be rare, once-in-a-lifetime events. Now, they are happening with alarming frequency and intensity. While mainstream science treats the true cause as mere hypothesis, the actual explanation is astonishing and likely something you have never heard before. To understand what is really happening, let's first look at recent footage of the major earthquakes that struck Japan and Venezuela.
Japan. A powerful magnitude 7.2 earthquake occurred off the coast of Iwate Prefecture on June 25th at 7:30 local time during the morning rush hour. The tremors were felt across a wide area, affecting not only the Tohoku region, but also the capital, Tokyo. They were accompanied by prolonged ground shaking. No tsunami warning was issued. Over the following 3.5 hours, at least 8 aftershocks with magnitudes ranging from 2.9 to 4.0 were recorded. The disaster hit Aomori Prefecture the hardest. In the city of Hashikami, the earthquake intensity reached 6 upper on the seismic intensity scale of the Japan Meteorological Agency. In 2 prefectures, Aomori and Iwate, 12 people were injured. Among them was a 90-year-old resident of the city of Kamaishi in Iwate Prefecture who fell during the earthquake and suffered a broken arm. In Hachinohe, Aomori Prefecture, a teenage girl who was riding a bicycle at the moment of the tremor lost control and was hit by a car. As a result of the earthquake, hundreds of infrastructure facilities were damaged. In Aomori Prefecture, more than 360 buildings were affected, while in Iwate, 17 structures were damaged, including schools and social welfare facilities. In the city of Hachinohe, an elevator stopped and a person had to be evacuated from it. In supermarkets, goods fell from shelves on a large scale, and floors were covered with shards of glass containers. At Kanonji Temple, memorial tablets fell. In a nursing home, windows shattered because of the tremors, and cracks that appeared in the walls made the building unfit for people to stay in. The disaster also damaged facilities belonging to the football club, Vanraure Hachinohe. Walls partially collapsed in the office and on the futsal court. Deep cracks were also recorded at the Choju Onsen Thermal Complex. On the evening of June 26th, another earthquake with a magnitude of 5.6 occurred in the eastern part of Yamanashi Prefecture. Despite its lower magnitude, the maximum intensity in the city of Fujikawa-Guchiko reached level 6 lower. This was because the earthquake focus was located on land and at a shallower depth, allowing the shaking to reach the surface with less energy loss. In Yamanashi Prefecture, this was the first earthquake of such strength since 1924. As a result of the disaster, 15 people were injured. The seismic event caused significant destruction. In Kofu, the exterior wall of a building partially collapsed. In Fujiyoshida, roadside signs fell and concrete walls collapsed. And in one hotel in the city of Fujikawa-Guchiko, elevators stopped working after the earthquake. At the ancient Shinto shrine Kitaguchi Hongu Fuji Sengen, which has more than 1,900 years of history and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, 11 stone lanterns about 3 centuries old were damaged. In Shizuoka Prefecture, numerous rockfalls, landslides, and fallen trees were observed, and roof tiles also fell from buildings, damaging parked cars. In the town of Oyama, a slope collapsed behind one of the houses. The collapsed section was about 20 meters high and about 5 meters wide. To prevent further landslides amid heavy rains associated with an approaching typhoon, urgent measures were taken to reinforce the soil. Venezuela. On June 24th, Venezuela faced one of the most severe seismic episodes of the past 125 years. In the northern part of the country, where densely populated areas, transport hubs, port infrastructure, and the capital, the city of Caracas, are located, 2 powerful earthquakes occurred less than 1 minute apart, with magnitudes of 7.2 and 7.5. La Guaira state suffered the greatest damage, and authorities declared it a disaster zone. In their reports, local media described a severe situation. People gathered near destroyed buildings, unable to contact their loved ones, and not knowing what had happened to them. According to eyewitnesses, people remained under the rubble, and it was impossible to move concrete slabs without special equipment. People heard the voices of those trapped and, in the first hours, cleared the rubble themselves with their hands, ropes, and improvised tools, as rescue services were unable to reach all destroyed sites at the same time. The capital, Caracas, was also among the affected areas. Destruction was not widespread, but in several zones it was extremely serious. Rescue operations were hampered by a shortage of equipment for cutting concrete and metal, as well as basic supplies such as helmets, water, food, and other necessary items. The situation was complicated by the fact that the earthquakes occurred on a public holiday, leaving both local residents and visitors in the destruction zone. According to official data, as of July 1st, the death toll had reached 1,943 people, and more than 10,500 people were injured. Medical facilities worked around the clock. In the capital region, not only public hospitals but also private clinics were involved in receiving the injured. Large public facilities began to be used as temporary shelters for people. In La Guaira, a temporary shelter and medical aid point were set up at one of the stadiums. People who were afraid to return to damaged buildings because of cracks and aftershocks remained in open areas, parks, and temporary camps for several days. After the main shocks, seismic activity continued. By midday on June 27th, authorities had recorded 430 aftershocks. At least 383 buildings were destroyed or seriously damaged as a result of the earthquakes, and more than 1,400 infrastructure facilities across the country were affected, including 13 hospitals and 25 shopping centers. Simón Bolívar International Airport in the city of Maiquetía also sustained serious damage. According to an expert, the scale of the consequences cannot be explained by earthquake magnitude alone. The professor noted that if earthquake-resistant standards had been followed, buildings should not have collapsed like houses of cards. Among the possible causes, he pointed to the quality of concrete, a reduction in the amount of steel, insufficient transverse reinforcement of columns, and other violations of construction standards.
The recent surge in seismic activity across the globe is no random coincidence. Rather, it represents an inevitable phase in the Earth's natural life cycle. You may already be familiar with the concepts of pole shifts and pole drifts, phenomena where Earth's geomagnetic north and south poles either swap completely or wobble and drift away from their usual positions. These specific shifts are known as virtual geomagnetic excursions, and geological history shows they occur roughly every 12,000 years. Each of these cyclical excursions bears a specific name. The last one, which took place 12,000 years ago, was the Gothenburg excursion. Before that came the Lake Mungo excursion 24,000 years ago, the Mono Lake excursion 36,000 years ago, La Champ excursion 48,000 years ago, and so on. We are currently entering the window for the next cycle. While mainstream science has not officially classified our present era as an active excursion, it is well documented that the magnetic North Pole has been drifting rapidly toward Siberia. In fact, Earth's protective magnetic field has weakened by roughly 9% to 10% over the last 2 centuries alone. What exactly does this mean? It suggests that profound changes are unfolding deep within the Earth's core. As the core heats up, it disrupts the internal gyroscope mechanism that generates our planet's magnetic field. Consequently, the field weakens, causing the geomagnetic poles to become highly unstable. But what makes this so dangerous? As the Earth's core continues to superheat, it forces molten magma upward toward the crust, triggering volcanic eruptions and fueling an increase in seismic activity. In particular, we are seeing a rise in deep-focus earthquakes, quakes with epicenters deeper than 300 kilometers. Many of these are caused by cavitation explosions, which occur when newly rising hot magma violently collides with older magma that has pushed upward and cooled near the surface. The data suggests these deep-focus earthquakes are both increasing in frequency and intensifying in power.
In New Jersey, air temperatures reached plus 41 degrees Celsius. According to preliminary data, the extreme heat caused 25 deaths. Many of the victims were found inside homes without air conditioning. The exhausting heat was followed by powerful storms, accompanied by thunderstorms and wind gusts reaching 130 kilometers per hour. The severe weather brought down trees and damaged power lines, leaving hundreds of thousands of customers without electricity. According to the United States National Weather Service, heat remains the deadliest weather-related threat in the country. On average, heat caused 273 deaths each year, more than twice the number of deaths caused by flooding, and significantly more than the figures associated with tornadoes, hurricanes, and lightning strikes. At the same time, as the graph shows, the number of heat-related deaths has continued to rise steadily in recent years, turning extreme heat into an increasingly serious threat. The main danger lies not simply in a high temperature on a single day, but in a prolonged heat wave, a period when hot days and warm nights persist for several consecutive days. Under such conditions, the human body does not have enough time to cool down and recover. In cities, the situation is aggravated by the urban heat island effect. Concrete and asphalt surfaces absorb heat during the day and gradually release it at night, causing heat stress to continue accumulating even after sunset. Statistics show that heat waves are becoming more frequent and longer lasting in many regions of the world, meaning that an increasing number of people are facing risks for which they are no longer prepared.
As the Earth's superheated core relentlessly drives hot magma toward the surface, it warms the oceans from the bottom up, naturally driving up global atmospheric temperatures. This ocean heating accelerates the evaporation process, pumping massive amounts of water vapor into the sky. Because water vapor acts as a potent greenhouse gas, it traps even more heat, offering a striking explanation for the global warming crisis we face today. Furthermore, this abundance of atmospheric water vapor, combined with drastic temperature differentials, fuels larger and more violent cyclones, typhoons, and storms, triggering unprecedented torrential rains and catastrophic flooding. Faced with this reality, what can we actually do? First and foremost, we must unite to study the true root cause. If the driving force behind these planetary disruptions lies deep within the Earth's core, then our global funding and scientific efforts should be aggressively redirected toward understanding it. This is a matter of pure survival for the planet and all of humanity. Right now, trillions of dollars are being squandered on geopolitical conflicts and devastating wars. Can we raise global awareness and demand a shift in focus toward solving this true planetary climate crisis? Are we really going to remain passive, allowing political leaders to gamble with the fate of humanity? Let us remember that we all hold the inner power to change, spark awareness, and rewrite our future.